Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 35 of the Navigating Now virtual roundtable series. I'm Anthony Ewing with Thoughtium, and we are here every week, Thursday afternoons at 3 o'clock, with new leaders stepping into new discussions about those topics in business that matter most. And I've got a great guest today. We're going to be continuing to focus on our topic of small business strong and how small businesses are really leading the way in both innovating and navigating today's business marketplace. And it is an absolutely incredible marketplace that we are in today. And we're just seeing some great leaders emerge. So we've got one today that we're going to be talking to here in a minute, but I want to just cover off on a few housekeeping items. Again, my name's Anthony. I'm with Thoughtium. We broadcast live each week, Thursday afternoons at 3 o'clock. On LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. Those of you who have joined via the Zoom room, we welcome you. You are free to interact and engage with us through chat box. You can go ahead and submit questions for our guest through chat. We'll try to answer those throughout if they come through. We have a lot of folks that stop by and tune in via LinkedIn. We want to welcome our LinkedIn community. Our LinkedIn community has been great in providing input on who we bring to the table, as well as engaging in the discussion. So thank you all who've stopped in your LinkedIn feed to listen into today's episode. So 35 episodes in, and we're featuring leaders each week who are doing some incredible things in the face of not only the pandemic over the course of the last 12 months, but really some great things in entrepreneurship, small business ownership. And, you know, I go back to this concept of how all of our worlds have gotten smaller over the last 12 months. And I ran into today's guest, Scot Dicker, the co-founder of New World Nutrition here in Chicago, about 6 months ago. And Scot was really at the doorstep of really building and growing his new business. We spoke at a local gym that we bumped into, and Scot was essentially promoting and selling a new product of his. And what grabbed me was the packaging. So Scot, I want to bring you into the discussion. Welcome. We're so excited to talk to you today. Tell us about your product and tell us about the packaging that made me stop in my tracks and come over and say hello to you.
Thanks, Anthony. So my company, New World Nutrition Chicago, we make clean protein powders. Both whey and plant-based. And really what makes us unique is what you were talking about. We use refillable glass containers. We do this as, part of our mission is really to eliminate packaging waste. And so by using the glass containers, kind of like a modern milkman, we allow people to refill them and exchange them for new ones. And this way it's a closed loop, zero waste. It always bothered me, getting those big plastic tubs of protein every month or in the plastic bags, and you'd throw them out or you'd put them in the recycling bin. It's probably not getting recycled anyways. So this way, we were able to have a zero waste model, and it really goes into all of our principles of being a health and wellness product, supporting our local communities, as I'm sure we'll get into more and more. And I like how we ran into each other at the local independent gym, as well as really eliminating all these plastic tubs from being wasted and kind of completely a zero waste product.
Yeah, it's such a small thing, packaging, right? But it could make your entire value proposition. And that's what was so fascinating about our initial discussion. I was just so interested in, how narrow you all were coming into the marketplace. But I understand, Scot, that you've got a much broader background in health and nutrition. So why don't you tell us a little bit about, you and your journey to starting New World Nutrition?
Absolutely. So my background is, I have my degree in nutritional science, nutritional chemistry. I've always been fascinated in nutrition, a lot of it regarding performance. I started New World Nutrition actually back in 2014. At that time, I was working as a sports nutritionist. So I'd work with a lot of weight class athletes. And then inevitably, when you're a nutritionist, you work with a lot of just like weight loss clients. From there, I helped open up a nutrition store and health cafe, and that's where I really, really hurt me selling it. We were selling a lot of third-party proteins, and it really hurt me. That's where you see everyone buy these tubs of protein and throwing them out every month. So that's kind of where the packaging came from. In 2018, though, we started New World Nutrition. One, we wanted a clean protein powder, one that you knew had actually protein in it, first of all, and just minimal ingredients too. Like our whey protein has 3 ingredients. If you look on Amazon, or if you look on the shelf of GNC or whatnot, you turn around those protein powders, you're going to see, large laundry lists of ingredients. They're not necessary. So we have some clean ingredients, and we also, so that's kind of the health and wellness aspect of it. I'm sure people are aware protein powder, can be used as part of a healthy diet as well. We went into the packaging, and then to that third piece of it is really supporting local. And so it all ties together. We won't even ship outside of the Chicagoland area, because it's going after kind of those cheap sales, where if they're not going to be able to refill it, it really is, then we're looking at, one-time customers, or even if they're repeat customers, it doesn't do justice if they're not refilling. That goes against what we're looking to do anyways. And then that third aspect of supporting local is, like I said, we had the store, we were selling to our clients, third-party, protein products and other health and wellness products. And then, everyone would always come up, I could get it on Amazon for $2 cheaper. So we wanted to make sure that the partners that we're working with, we're supporting them by saying, we're a local company. We're here to support you. You can feel comfortable that when you're selling our protein, this is the price that it is. This is the price that is everywhere. And you're not going to be people aren't going to be undercutting you we're not sold on Amazon. We really are focused on like our local partners. And then also, online, it's really just through our own website. So where we can have really kind of control of the pricing, and making sure it's a fair go for all of our partners, that everyone's kind of making that same price.
Yeah. So it sounds like, the business model of staying local was very intentional for you. It was almost built in the foundation of New World Nutrition. Tell us a little bit about maybe, now a few years in, some of the insights and learnings that you've gained from being a local focused organization, and maybe a few of kind of the pros and some of the, great things about being a locally recognized and locally owned organization, and some of those things that you might struggle with in staying local.
Yeah. So, the positive is, we get to really build these relationships. So, we get to be a part of these communities. Like our bread and butter is still working with local independent gyms. So really it's going to be like owner operated businesses, just like my business. We work with other local owner operated businesses to kind of get that buy-in on both sides, that, we're working together. And so by doing that, it really has helped us gain more loyal following. Almost 45% of our sales last year were refill orders. And so
Wow.
that's as we continue to grow, we've maintained that repeat customer at 40 to 45%, which is something like really amazing. Not only as like a brand following, which is, really great to see, but also, we go back to it, think of how many, those are all refills. That's all those plastic tubs that we're talking about, getting rid of them. So by really being hyper focused on building those relationships, getting kind of buy-in to our mission, to the brand, supporting local businesses, it's allowed us to grow consistently and grow slowly, and kind of that brick by brick mentality. Of course, the negative is, right, there's a lot of people out there, right, outside of our local community,
Outside of Chicago. Yeah.
So we haven't hit them, but honestly, we don't even care to hit them right now. Eventually, once we outgrow the local market, we'll move to a new local market and grow there as well.
Absolutely.
That's kind of the plan, but until we really own local, which is the phrase that I always use, we want to own our own backyard, because it's hard to get, people. Why would people, living 1,000 miles away buy our product if we can't get the people next door to buy it? So it's been very intentional to really establish that loyal following right at home. We're not even worried about anything past that right now. We're a long ways from that.
Yeah. Own local. I love that. And it's interesting. I think any organization, small business, can learn from that concept of own local. I think of even our business, and we've got clients all over the country. But those relationships that we have very close to us, whether it's geographically or just by way of the history that we have those relationships, are the most important. And it's easy to take your head off of that, especially as an entrepreneur. It's easy to take your mind off of the importance of that first and second degree. And for us in client services, that means just making sure that we honor and support and service our local community, our local clients, those relationships that have been with us for multiple years. And you realize after a while that you could spend an entire career within your own local marketplace. And and I've said this over and over again, on this show, if anything, the last 12 months, with the pandemic, have really taught us the power in local community, local relationships, and particularly local business. So tell us a little bit about your last 12 months. I'm sure it wasn't maybe what you expected 12 months ago. I know we're kind of sitting at the doorstep of the year anniversary of the pandemic. Tell us about your last 12 months and maybe some of the things that have shifted for you and for New World Nutrition.
Absolutely. And I'm going to even go back probably 18 months to kind of tell that full story. So we were actually planning on opening up our own brick and mortar. And so this was going to be a major expansion of our business. Because at first, I was kind of obsessed with the fact that, how can people refill if they don't belong to these gyms or these small businesses that we partner with? If they order, how do we get that? So we wanted to have a location. We were going to call it like a refill station or whatnot, where anyone could walk in. They don't have to be a member of these training studios or whatnot. And then we were going to turn it into kind of a zero waste functional beverage bar. So it was going to be really cool. We were going to do smoothies, kombucha kegs, cold brew kegs. We got a lease. We started the build out, and that was really where a lot of our focus was in the second half of 2019 and the first half of 2020. And it turned out, obviously in 2020, in the beginning of the year, things hit. COVID hit us, and also, it turned out that we were underquoted, to say the least, on kind of how much that build out was going to cost. So we had to make a pretty tough decision to kind of just cut that out. So we had to get out of our lease, just eat the costs of the build out that we put in already, which was substantial for a small business, and then refocus on the protein business. Just kind of double down on what we were doing well, and focus that way. So it may have turned out to a blessing, because we did completely. We fixed a lot of things that we kind of had put on hold as we were, focused on opening this brick and mortar. So the priorities shifted in a good way, probably, but also kind of going back to your initial question, as far as just like the protein sales and stuff, we rely so heavily on getting out there in the community. We rely on, having these demo events where we get to just set up a table, like where we met you, have people sample the product. Once they sample our product, it tastes great. Who doesn't support the eco-friendly and the localness of it? So that's really where we get these loyal customers, that initial buy-in. And so when COVID hit, and especially during that initial shutdown, sales fell off a cliff for I think March and April. And so that was coincided with, we had all these increased costs that we were pumping into construction of a retail space that never opened. So it was looking kind of tough there for a minute. But we were able to kind of shift focus and tweak it. And we actually turned into having a great year in 2020. We grew at almost 50%. We saw a lot of that shift from the sales that we were getting in the table events. We were able to shift that to online sales. We were seeing a surge of new support for these local boutique studios once the gyms reopened. Again, we go back to the community. The communities were supporting these gyms, as small businesses, the people who were lucky enough to be in a position to do so. And so by supporting them, I think we kind of got part of that halo effect as well, to introduce people to the products as well. And we were able to get some new accounts as well. We increased our footprint in a lot of these local independent studios and stores. And so we were able to turn it around really by shifting priorities. And it let some clarity come in. We cut out a lot of the noise. I'm sure you hear this a lot from your small business people, but when you're doing too much, you're not really moving forward. So we were trying to do a lot, and it turned out to be really good for us to really just get back to the basics. We even cut out some flavors. We cut out some protein types. One of the proteins I wanted when I launched the business was a plant away combo. So it was a combination of plant protein and whey protein. I figured it was kind of that middle ground, that best of both worlds. It's actually a protein that I really liked, but it took way too much education for people, not in that like 10 seconds that we get, after a class. So we cut that out. We focused on just the grass-fed whey protein, the organic plant protein. And so we eliminated flavors, and we wanted to do one thing the best. And so it's really, the good thing about being a small business, we were talking about this before we went live, is that you're able to try a lot of things, see what works, and kind of be really agile and move quickly. That's the great thing to be able to do, but also, you can't have this shiny object syndrome. We have to really be focused on doing one thing the best. And when you do that one thing the best, and then you build that foundation then to expand, but kind of chasing those shiny objects beforehand, it's more of a hindrance than it has been. If we make a new flavor, we have to get new ingredients. Then we have to have new labeling. We have to, and it's probably not going to be a top seller. It's really probably not worth our return of investment on that.
Yeah, I mean, so many great nuggets from kind of you taking us through your strategy over the course of the last 18 months. And I appreciate you sharing. I draw so many parallels across, the handful of different industries that we've had represented on this show in terms of the way that we all as business owners, business leaders, employees have seen the last 12 months. And that is, you focus on what works. And I think all of us professionally and even personally have really been challenged to kind of narrow in on what works and double down on that. And it sounds like that's what you did. A small group of us, part of the Navigating Now community, attended a talk from Brene Brown yesterday. And she was applying a couple of her principles to business and business strategy. And one of the things that she mentioned was that there's been this incredible focus over the last 12 months through the pandemic on productivity and ensuring that we, as large organizations maintain productivity, and as small businesses and entrepreneurs, we maybe narrow in on the most productive aspects of our business. And I can relate because we've done that. What she said, though, on the other side of that was a really interesting point. She argued that we've been lacking a little bit of innovation over the last 12 months. There's been innovation in organizations pivoting and finding what works and doubling down on it, but there maybe hasn't been a lot of space for us to really, open our minds to new possibilities, try things that might be just a little bit outside of our swim lane. And Brene argued that as we come back to the office space, as more folks can be kind of out there collaborating, there's going to be this almost correction of innovation, or this influx of innovation. And it sounds like maybe that's a little bit of kind of what you're going through as well too, which if this last year was really focusing on what works, you're going to take those insights and you're going to start to turn it into, okay, how can we expand what's worked over the last 12 to 18 months into new product lines, new opportunities for the organization. And one of the things that, I hear in you saying is that distribution is big for you all. And I'm curious, if the brick and mortar was an idea that you had a year ago that you had to kind of put on pause, right? So that you could really optimize the existing channels. What are some of the distribution channels that you're looking at moving forward? Because as you're talking, I'm like, gosh, there's so many possibilities. You could put your protein in every gym in Chicago. You could leverage Instacart and Caviar and some of these, delivery services. Like, what are some of the distribution mechanisms that you're looking at moving forward if you're going to stay local?
So we really two major focuses. So this kind of alternative channel where we want to be in every, you live in Chicago. So we want to see there's a gym on every corner, right? A studio gym. I think that coming out of the pandemic, the big box gyms are in trouble. I think even whenever we get back to normal, I think a lot of people aren't going to feel comfortable going to these, big box gyms. I think a lot of their clientele got used to working out from home. If they were really serious about it, they wanted to find a more specialized studio. So I think those businesses I think are going to come out of this really well if they can make it through. And really the big box ones are going to be the ones that are hurting a little more. And so we want to make sure we're in every single one of those. So that's kind of number one. We want to be in every single one of these small gyms. We support them. Our products do really well at pretty much every studio that we're in. We come support them with sampling events. We help them move everything. So we want to be in every single studio. That's part of owning that local market. And then the second part is kind of just really driving more sales through our website. And so I told you before, kind of that big thing that was always in my head is how are these people refilling the products, if they don't belong to one of these gyms, they don't go to, we also work with some meal delivery services, for example, for distribution, but how are they going to refill it? So we spent this time to figure out, we can just do that all through our website. So we do contactless pickup and delivery through our website. You use a code when you order your protein, you get that refill discount because you always get a discount when you refill. And then we send you an email. We give you a delivery window. Your empty jar is right in front of your door. We give you the new one. It's a contactless pickup. And that was kind of the answer that was really easy and right in front of us that I just didn't see for a little while, and how these people can refill it just through our website. So it's really driving sales through there as well as through our local partners. And before, like I said, because I didn't see that obvious refill right through the website, contactless pickup. That's why we weren't really focused on driving sales through the website because I just didn't see that easiness of the refill. And like I said, everything's driven by how can we get people to refill, zero waste. We don't want one-time customers. Well, not going to turn them away, but we're looking for these consistent customers that are going to keep being, good representations of the brand. So those are really the two channels that we're focused on, hyper focused on it, trying to not get distracted by any other ideas.
Yeah. And I'm sure you're also, it's what's fascinating to me is taking a look at how consumer behavior has and will shift. Due to the last 12 months, it's almost like we've triple accelerated into a world where everybody is comfortable ordering food and essential products to their home because we've had to be.
Yep.
I always think about, my parents, and within, the last 18 months, my parents have gone from, going to the grocery store, much like they did 20, 30, 40 years ago, and picking up weekly groceries to, now having individual meals and, a large percentage of their groceries delivered to them. And if my folks can adopt that type of pattern and behavior, anybody can. So how are you paying attention to, consumer behaviors and consumer trends? It sounds like everything's headed into a direction of some of these alternative channels that you're looking for. I mean, even just the thought of like, I'm out of protein, I can literally put my my container outside of my door, and within a couple hours, it can be swapped for a new batch, is just incredible.
Yeah, and yeah, so it's really convenience. Everything's about convenience. That's why we're seeing people, and we were seeing that shift away from walking into a store anyways, right? It's just the pandemic just
Yep.
accelerated it 5 years or maybe more. So it's really what making things as convenient as possible. So there's nothing more convenient than, like you said, I'm just gonna open my door, put my old jar out there, a new one's gonna be here. And the other one that the reason that we remained committed to supporting these local studios is it's also just as convenient. If you can't ask people to go to make an extra stop anymore. You can't say just come here and you could pick this up, go there to get this. But if you are where they're going anyways, that's still a win. So you're still going to the gym for your class because you're going there for a reason. It's a community. You're getting a workout you can't probably get at home, or you don't want to get at home. I know I hate working out at home. So if I'm going there anyways, and I go to the gym 4 or 5 times a week, that's still a convenience win. By being where your customers are, not asking them to go for it. So it's really open your door, or you're going here, I'll be there.
Where they're at. Yeah, I love that. What's it like working with and running a business with your wife?
It's great. So we kind of stay in our lanes on things. We're in there. People don't realize we hand blend the protein. We're in the kitchen nights and weekends, blending and packaging proteins together. And then it's just kind of staying in your lane, and not and that's kind of how you get things done. But it has to be a partner in life and a partner in everything.
Yeah. Staying in your lane, and in today's world, staying in your own room, right? When we were logging on, you said your wife was in one room and you're in the other. She's doing work, you're doing work.
Exactly.
That's got to be incredible, right? To have a partner in life and in work.
Yeah, of course. You have to be very supportive of everything. So she's dealt with me through a lot of years of trying different things. So it's really good.
Are you all telling the story of growing New World Nutrition, and if so, how are you essentially providing a window into this story? Because it's as easy as it is right now to start a business, to do your own thing, to even have a side hustle. And you look at platforms like Shopify and of course Instagram and Facebook, and just how quickly commerce is making its way on all of these free mediums. There are a lot of people that are either just dipping their toe in their side hustle, or they've maybe decided to start a CPG company or a small business, and they don't know what to do next, or maybe they're afraid to take the next step. And it sounds like you all have taken some of those steps. Are you thinking about how you can tell that story and how you can bring that story to more people? And if so, what are you thinking about there?
Well, I mean, telling the story, it's part of every kind of jar. I know it sounds corny, but every jar we sell kind of tells our story. And it's really getting out there and building the relationships. Getting out there these days, it could mean doing a Zoom call like this. It could be, meeting people. But it's really getting out there in the community, either virtually or in person, and just kind of building those relationships. We don't make like a concerted effort to be, and maybe we should, to kind of, post post more about this or that. It's really kind of those inherent connections and organic connections that kind of we rely on, because it's just very genuine and honest on it.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, if it means anything, I would love to see glimpses of you and your wife mixing protein in your kitchen. I mean, I just think that's such a cool story because the beginnings are oftentimes what.
Correct. It's not our kitchen. It is the commercial kitchen.
It is. Okay, good. It's a commercial kitchen. Good. That is a very good. That is a very good correction and clarity that I think our audience definitely we owe our audience. So I apologize for that. But these beginning phases I just think are so interesting, and you have such a unique story in building this business. I think it'd be great to see snippets of kind of behind the curtain. But I think you bring up the most important point, which is, the best way to promote brand, the best way to tell the story is through the individual relationships. And again, I met you essentially, out in your marketplace. We met at Train Moment. So Nick and Katie are the owners of Train Moment, are also members of the Navigating Now community. They've got an incredible small boutique local gym in Chicago. They're building more than just a gym. It's a brand. It's a platform. It's an incredible community of people. And by no coincidence, I was walking out of the gym and I ran into you, and you had a lot of the same DNA that Nick had, and we all just jived. And within 13 minutes, I had bought some protein and booked you for this episode, which I just think is so cool. That is the power of the relationship. And that's also the power of the local community. And that's something I've been talking a lot about how my 6-block radius has gotten almost so much more clear to me. And the power in just my 6-block radius is so amplified today because I've been more confined to it. And because I realize that there are relationships right around me that really, really offer a lot. And you don't have to think outside of, your neighborhood, your state, your country to find a lifetime of relationships. So share with us maybe, how some of the kind of interpersonal relationships have really added to the success of New World Nutrition. Like, tell us a little bit about, the ground game that you have to do, and not just the store demos, but the conversations, the relationships. Like, what's a success story or two on how some of these local relationships have really come through for you?
Yeah, and it's it's really by really understanding what everyone's kind of goals are in business as well. So genuine. So it's not we don't look to just to get in anywhere. If it's not a good fit, we want to make sure that we are adding to other people's business as well. That we're contributing ourselves to supporting and helping out other people's business goals. So I mean, every gym we're in has been a good success. We partnered with a local eco zero waste store up in I think it's North Center, or it could be Lincoln Square, Eco and the Flamingo. And so they're a zero waste store. We partner with them because we fit the model, and we've been doing really well there. It's really about you gotta in order to run into luck, you have to be running, right? My grandpa used to always tell me that. So it's people could always say you got lucky to do this, lucky to do that, but you have to be out there grinding to really have things happen. Nothing ever happened if you're sitting at home in the dark, right? So I mean, there's so many, every relationship we have is kind of a success story on its own. It's hard to kind of just cherry pick out. But we do whatever we can to support them. We're really grateful and thankful that they're supporting us, allowing. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've called places just to see if I could set up a table anytime, and so every time someone says yes to even that, we're really grateful for that.
I love that. And I want to repeat something you said because it really stuck with me. You said that every relationship itself is a success story. And I just, I think that's so important. It's very simply put, but at the same time, if you really think about it, as entrepreneurs, we are so opportunistic. And oftentimes we are looking for to your point, the next shiny product or the next big client. And, we do have to challenge ourselves to pause and realize that those relationships that we have are the most important ones from a business perspective, from a life perspective. So, every relationship is also a success story. I love that. Yeah. Thank you for that.
Absolutely. And also, it's also, giving everything the proper attention and the nourishment, even if one seems to be in a lull, you never know like what's going to happen in the future. So we remain supportive of, if someone helped us sell one protein, we're grateful and we remain supportive. We never turn down if someone wants us to do a giveaway with them to help out their business, or for a charity or whatnot. So it's remaining supportive of every one of those relationships, not just the ones that are kind of booming at the moment.
Yeah, that's awesome. I want to maybe peel back a little bit, just what it's like being a small business owner, because as I mentioned, I think we do have a lot of folks that tune in that are thinking about starting a business, or maybe they've got a side business that they're thinking about scaling. What are some of the things that today that you wish you would have known in starting New World Nutrition?
Let's see. There's a lot to unpack there. I think that everyone, and this is something my wife always tells me, you have to kind of earn each step. So before you go out and make any big changes, start by selling one product, right? A lot of people, want to kind of jump all in on something, but you really should earn each step. Grow until you can't grow anymore, then get the next step. It's really a brick by brick mentality, and really think really hard before you make major investments before they're warranted. Because the easiest way to go out of business is to run out of capital. And so you be very intentional before you're making these investments. For example, we just redid our labeling, our packaging and stuff. We were using literally a dissolvable sticker as our labels up until the beginning of this year, and it's it looks really great. Got them right here. They look a lot more professional. But we wanted to prove that we could. So we have a great product. We believe in our business model and our product. So before we invested in new branding and new labeling, we wanted to make sure that people liked the product and the business model. It wasn't just kind of a marketing scheme to get people to buy a quick product. So that would be the major advice I would have, is kind of prove every step along the way before you take that next step. I think that's the number one thing, and really keep in mind that brick by brick mentality. The reason I'm confident in this business going into the future is because of what I told you before. 40 to 45% of our sales every month are repeat customers. And that's with it growing. And that wouldn't have been possible if we just kind of tried to shoot like a much larger net right off the bat. It's kind of that slow expansion, be a little better each day, that really allowed it to happen.
Yeah, I love that. Some really good words. And again, pretty easily said, really challenging to do on a day-to-day basis. So just appreciate those insights. Also, are you thinking about
on that? Sorry,
please,
because I'm not, it's in my head now. Don't let perfect prevent you from making progress. Things are never going to be perfect. You have to keep working towards things getting better and better. But if you wait for things to be perfect before you start an opportunity or try something new, it's never going to come. So don't let perfect stop progress, or not being perfect stop progress.
Yeah, I love that too. Are you thinking about hiring? Are you thinking about growing? Like what are some of the pieces that you'll need as New World Nutrition expands?
So as we expand, we actually just brought on someone to kind of manage our digital, and our social media. So that was kind of our first major thing. Throughout the pandemic, I told you we saw a big shift to our online sales, and it's something that we really want to keep improving. It's certainly not one of my strengths, managing that, and so it's time to kind of invest in that. I'm surprised every time we get an online order, because we're not really focusing on that. We don't have like dedicated people or time on that. So that's a big opportunity for us to expand. And then also probably in the spring and summertime, hopefully while everything starts to open up, that's when we're going to start probably hiring some like ambassadors and reps to help with these demos, and kind of get out in there, which will be a tricky thing, because right now I do every single one of them still. I'm out there, nights and weekends, kind of meeting the people. So, but it's to expand, obviously that'll need to change. And so that'll probably be our next wave of, part-time hires.
And are you thinking beyond protein at this point?
At this point, it's not going to be in the near future. We do have hopefully a long-term future of expanding the product line, but it's really, like I said, we want to do refillable proteins better than anyone else. And that's really what we're focused on. We might have some new flavors or something like that coming out. But for the immediate future, at least for 2021, it's going, I'd never say never, but I would be surprised if we do anything other than protein powders.
Yeah, I love it. It's just, even as we go through these series of questions, I can sense your steadfast mentality in focusing on what works, and your product is differentiated. Just obviously my personal experience through it, but from what I've heard, others who have used your product, it tastes different, it feels different, and particularly that packaging is such a unique thing. And I can tell that you're really wanting to establish that differentiation in the marketplace, making sure that you build a foundation of success, particularly in Chicago. And I think that's just incredibly inspiring at a time where, again, I think sometimes our eyes get really big in terms of the opportunity. So I want to just give you a lot of credit for that focus. You can hear it in what you say, and I can absolutely see it in your actions. Again, I'll never forget running into you that day. I mean, it was smack in the middle of the pandemic, and you had a table open at a local gym, and you were going customer by customer. And I just think that is an incredible testament to the fortitude and the persistence that you all are showing at New World Nutrition. So congratulations.
Oh, thank you very much. A long way to go, but thank you very much.
Yeah. So Scott, how can folks find you, and how can folks find New World Nutrition?
You can follow us on Instagram. That would be New World Nutrition Chicago. And then you can also come to our website, order a protein at newworldnutritionchicago.com. And if you are refilling, remember to put that code in, refill5. You get a discount, and we'll arrange that contactless pickup. And you can also, we have a tab on our website for a lot of our local partners. And so you can always reach out to them. In addition to going there for your protein, I highly recommend checking them out for their gyms and studios. We work with a lot of great places. They have great workouts for you. It's great community in each one of these places as well.
That's really cool. Yeah, I love the duality of how you're helping some of the local gyms out. So definitely check out New World Nutrition. Definitely go on their website. Try their protein. I'm going to put my personal vote in for the Cinnamon Toast Crunch, because I hope that's what it's called, because that is what it tastes like, and it's incredible.
I'm not allowed to say Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
What's that?
It's called cinnamon roll. I can't call it Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Cinnamon roll. Go get the cinnamon roll.
It
You
did.
know what it's going to taste like.
It's like that bowl of Cinnamon Toast Crunch, though, so we can say that. And
Okay, good.
it's only 3 ingredients. It's super clean. Are you throwing it in your oatmeal?
Oh man, I'm putting it in everything. We're making shakes. We're adding it to overnight oats. I'm just putting it into a cup of oat milk at the end of the day. It's great because it doesn't have that heavy taste. So I'm a huge fan.
Fantastic. Great to hear.
Yeah. Yeah. Scott, I got to tell you, I'm just thrilled that we had this conversation today. I know that you've been doing some great things in Chicago, and I know that we've got a couple of like real unique mutual friends and community members. And I'm just so thrilled to have you a part of the Navigating Now community. It's growing with people like you who are just so excited to be out in the marketplace, and particularly those people who really pay attention to what's happening immediately around them. And I want to wish you all of the best of luck and success. And I know this is just the beginning of, us partnering and working together. So really appreciate your time today and your insights. Extremely valuable, hopefully valuable to everybody who listens. So Scott, thank you so much for joining us at the table today.
Thank you so much for having me. This was really great, and appreciate the support.
Absolutely. Okay, so as we close things up, I want to remind everybody that we are online each week, Thursday afternoon at 3 p.m. Central Time. Each week, we bring a new leader to the table and we unpack the topics that matter most to you all. Next week, we have an incredible existing member of the Navigating Now community, Ryan Zink. He's the CEO of Franchise Fastlane. Ryan is a dynamic leader with an intense focus on building businesses through people. And he's going to tell us a little bit about how the franchise industry has shifted and changed over the last 12 months, and even how his team has grown. Ryan's just an extremely dynamic guest, so you won't want to miss him. We want to thank everybody joining us via LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook. Those of you who are tuning in at thoughttium.com/live, that's where you can register to attend these events. We'll see you next week. Thanks, everybody, and have an incredible rest of the day.